Hi guys, Leanne from Grogy's Patch. I'm just about to do another lap around town and film the areas that are of the river that are flooding. I have my trusty can of tropical mozzie spray that I'm going to put on now so I don't forget, because the mozzies are really bad. The authorities said that the river was going to peak at around, I was just waiting for some cars to go past so I could back out, so I shall do that. The authorities said that the river would peak around 1 AM in town here. It's now nearly 12 o'clock and the river still hasn't peaked, so it's a bit of an unknown at this point, I guess, especially for us, because they haven't told us any differently when it actually will peak. But the gauges upstream are still rising, so quite obviously it's going to keep rising here as well. So we'll go and do a couple of I'll do a few laps this afternoon, spaced out over a few hours, so that everyone can see what's going on. So this is the first spot, which is the weir at the back of the footy oval. There's the railway bridge, definitely up a lot since yesterday. Nearly getting up to the banks. Has broken over the bank on the other side there by the look. But hasn't come over the bank as yet on this side, although it is getting very, very close. And as I said yesterday, if you swing around the other way, there's all our sporting facilities. That's our football oval, cricket oval, hockey fields over that way, another cricket field over that way, our sports stadium's just behind me, behind the car, over there. We can get a little peek, which is all fairly new. Our show, the Donald P&A Society, and the show runs from here. So much happens. This is sort of the hub of the town, really. And in 2011, the whole ground and the stadium did get flooded. Well, I don't think the stadium did, but the whole football ground was like a lake. Someone, in fact, was driving their speedboat around on the oval, which was possibly a bit dangerous, but anyway, things you do. This is the area behind Hamel Street. There are all residences here. Some of them will be having some water in their backyards about now. Just creeping up to their backyards. So you can see the river is getting quite high, nearly to the top of the banks over there. I'm at the Federation Trail Bridge right now, and as you can see, the water is right lapping up against it. It won't be long before it actually goes under. So I'll keep going around this way, which is up towards where I was before, so you can see the water lapping up at the back of the properties there. I'm back at Sealy's Island Bridge. Now there are homes along the banks of the river in front of me there. I'll scroll around here, and there is the bridge, and scroll around there and you'll see that there are homes along the banks of the river there. It's got a little ways to go before it gets up to there, although the motel, which is just in there, you can see where the water levels are creeping up towards it there. So here we are at the first of the big bridges in Donald. You can see over the back there, they're pumping some water from behind the spot in there. But you'll be able to see here how fast the river's rising. And if I come back out, there is the suspension bridge. This is the other side of that first bridge, facing downstream, so I was facing upstream before. But you can see, gives you a good idea of how fast the water's running. There did used to be a house right there where that little shed is, which every time there was a flood it used to get flooded. But yeah, it got burnt down quite a few years ago. So here we are at the second bridge in Donald. You can see there's the Apex Park where a lot of people camp in there, bring their caravans and camp, and we'll swing around this way. And behind those trees there is our local hospital. This is downstream at the second bridge. A lot of residences along the banks there. If we zoom in over here, can't see whether I'm catching it, but there's a couple of little duckies in there. I'm now on top of the suspension bridge, looking downstream at the first Donald Bridge. And over here they're doing some mitigation works and doing a bit of pumping there. And then come over this side, upstream. You can see a lot of this, which is normally scrub, is getting inundated. So here they're pumping out water from in behind the homes and that there. Oh, off it goes. They must have several pumps in there. That one's about to get away. So here we are at the back of the motel. This is actually Camp Street, which is actually a road, a street that goes through. This is the top of the Great Wall, the temporary levee that they've put in. And if we look down here, that is Camp Street, which is not Camp Street anymore. It's a big swimming pool. We can see the water's actually come right up to the levee. This is in the back of behind Wood Street. That's Camp Street over there. You might be able to see the odd white little post from the road, but it's a bit actually hard to tell now what was actually land and what's river in here, because it's all one big river now. Here we are at the Goodwin Street Bridge. It's the other end of Camp Street to the Great Wall, and you'll see where the bridge is there, where the white barriers are, which are nearly completely underwater. We'll go around here and you can see the plastic that they've put over the top of the levee there. We'll go back a little here, you'll see that they've raised the height of the barriers. They can just keep putting more rows of steel in there. So that's where that sits. At 2 AM I made the comment that I didn't think our fish would have a swim, and I was thinking maybe that the Bullock's Head wouldn't have a drink, but I think I've changed my mind, because looking at this now, the Bullock's Head isn't that far off having a drink, and our fish isn't actually that far off having a swim. I'll just zoom in a little bit so you can see how close that is, and then you can see how inundated the area around is. So experts said that the waters were to peak at 1 AM, and it's now after 1 PM and they're still rising.